Here with the old 450 SLC and the CLK430. Somebody asked me to show how to change the air filter on the CLK, and so I thought while we're doing that we might just compare the two cars. The 450 SLC is 1977 and the CLK 430 is the year 2000. There's 23 years difference between them. A lot has happened in that 23-year period. The SLC weighs 2,120 kilos, and you could probably make 3 CLKs from the metal in this car. Now the SLC has a real air filter made out of metal, whereas the CLK has a air filter made out of recycled plastic. This air filter here just pushes on, has clips underneath it. I don't know what you do when the clips break or the engine, the plastic becomes brittle from the engine heat, but we'll find out one year. So first off, we pull off these little air venty things on each side. See, I've just moved them out a bit, and now I grab it around here. There's a clip around here, so you just grab it and pull the whole thing up. I'll use both hands. Yeah, you just lift it up and take the whole thing away. As you can see on the underside, it's just got plastic, well actually metal clips on the plastic, and one day they'll probably wear out, and this is the end that goes over the air intake. Now what you do is you get your screwdriver, Phillips head, and undo the screws around the thing, there and there, and you take off this piece, and underneath that is your air filters. And I'm not going to bother unscrewing it just to show you that. You can work that one out on your own, and that's all you do to change your air filter. Now on this car you can see it's a completely different system. It's got 2 spark plugs per cylinder, firing on the up and down strokes, and these gizmos here are your coils, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So this car doesn't have a distributor. It's each coil for every cylinder. This is your throttle cable here, and it goes into a variac, and the variac singles to your air intake here, and so there is actually no cable as such going from the throttle to there, which is weird, isn't it? The other thing is with the CLK, it has electronic fuel injectors that got a plug and an injector that fires into the engine, keeping in line with the more modern type cars. You can raise the bonnet right up on this lever here. You push that in and you can raise it just like the 300E. when you put the plastic cover back on again, you just make sure you line up your little bits of metal on the clips down here and give it a bang up the back there where it goes onto the air intake, and put your little pipes back on again. Unfortunately, I haven't got a book on this engine, the 430. I've got discs, but I can't get them to work on my computer, and so I've done my dough on that as well. But I have a book for the basic car interior and all that sort of rubbish. But one day I'll get a decoder for this car and everything, and work it out eventually. I'm more of the old engine man. I like throttles and things that actually come up and do something. This car, the SLC, doesn't have any electronics whatsoever, other than electronic ignition for the, doesn't have points in the distributor. Whereas the CLK is cram-packed with electronics. Now, the difference between these two cars is gigantic. This car has low profile tyres and rather firm, hard seats, which make for a bloody hard ride. On the other hand, the SLC has nice wide seats that are reasonably soft, and they have your ordinary tyres on it. So this car is smooth and comfortable to drive in. So they didn't do much. 23 years later, you get a rougher ride. Oh dear. And mind you, the steering and the brakes aren't as good as the CLK, of course. But the other thing I should say, off the mark, the 450 SLC is quite fast off the mark, but the CLK will overtake it in a matter of a few seconds. The CLK can do 0 to 100 kilometres an hour in 6 seconds, and I think for the SLC, I think it's 7.2. And the other thing I like about the SLC is things like the air conditioner. All you do is turn that knob there, turn the air compressor on, roll it around. You can have it circulate inside, and all you do is move the slides up and down where you want them. Whereas on the CLK, the air conditioner unit is fully computerized or whatever, and I was playing with it yesterday, and you can run it through the system to check it out and all that sort of rubbish, and it has a brain of its own. But this one, I think I've got problems with the centre air vent, and since I've got the air filter off, I'll have a quick look at the vacuum lines for that. It's probably the flaps inside the car. With the CLK, there isn't much in the way of boot space, because you've got to have this flap thing up to put the roof up and down, which tucks inside there, which is a shame. But anyway, that's, I suppose that's the soft top thing. And while we're talking about plastic here, the radiator on this car is made out of plastic and aluminium, whereas the radiator on the 450 is made out of brass and copper. I suppose that's considered an improvement these days. I suppose they save money. The other noticeable thing between modern cars and the old ones is that the skirting at the front, the bumper, and that's all made of plastic. And it's funny, when you touch the car, it feels like plastic compared to steel on the 450. And of course you got the steel bumpers front and rear, chromed, and plastic on the rear, of course. I must say one thing about the CLK is that the rear view, the rear vision is a shocker, absolutely shocking. On the later models they've got sensors along the back, and you probably need them, whereas the 450 vision is excellent. We have the 450 SLC for sale. I really wanted 35 grand, but my wife said you're asking too much, and we've dropped it down to 25 grand. Anyone interested, riffraffjazz at gmail.com. Seems to be I like me cars, but I can't give them away. Nobody seems to want them. But here's my favourite car here, the 450. Oh no, sorry, 300E. Got a bit of dirt on it. It rained the other day. It is my favourite car out of the three. It'll go anywhere, anytime, and just a straight 6 3 litre. Anyway, that's my cars for today.